Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live, talk radio without the static. Email your questions and comments to lynn@pghcitypaper.com. And now your host, Lynn Cullen.
Hey, and a good morning at you. It is the 28th of August. I swear I saw some little kids going into one of the Pittsburgh public schools today with a backpack. Are they back? Not. I mean, I did. I saw that. I saw two little kids. I thought school used to start after Labor Day. Well, poor little kids. Although I remember being so excited about the first day of school. One year, two of my girlfriends and I over the summer actually made our dresses for the first day of school. Identical effing dresses. All I can remember is they had, 26th is the first. Oh, it was the first day. I didn't even know what you were talking about. Okay. So they've started, the poor little guy. Aw. I thought you were giving me a heads up about Ryan. You were doing that too? Sorry. Excuse us while I talk to Amy. I think we must have been going into about 5th grade or 6th grade. Can you imagine thinking it was a neat idea to all go in the same dress with rickrack? Do you know what rickrack is? It's the little thing you would put on the end of a hem or a sleeve that gives it a little scalloped edge. Rickrack on the... Oh, God, they were so ugly. Oh, my God. We were so proud. That's the first and the last dress I ever made, and I, to this day, have such respect for anybody who can actually sew, who can figure out those garment patterns, who know how to write. That it is an amazing skill, and of course underappreciated since women generally did it all the time, except for tailors who invariably were men, right? Because the women would do it at home for nothing, and the men would do it out of the home and get paid. Just like women cook all the meals inside the home for nothing, and men get to be the chefs, right? That's pretty much the way it was. By the way, my great-grandfather was a tailor. An immigrant to this country and a tailor who, the great American success story, of course, he ended up owning 2 overall factories in the Midwest. I don't know much about it, frankly. So, oh boy, the little kids are back. So, I'm avoiding the subject. I stopped. I do look at Twitter, and I've stopped following who long ago to cost him at least one follower. But this despicable man who some American people put in the White House. Tweeted about this tropical storm, apparently soon to be a hurricane, heading right for Puerto Rico, right for the, I guess, eastern edge of Puerto Rico, taking it over San Juan, the capital. And here's what the president says to American citizens on that island. We're tracking closely Tropical Storm Dorian as it heads, as usual, to Puerto Rico. As if he's having a snit fit about somehow the Puerto Ricans are responsible for it. Why would that as usual be in there? It's such a disgusting little parenthetical remark. We're tracking closely Tropical Storm Dorian as it heads, as usual, to Puerto Rico. FEMA and all others are ready and will do a great job. When they do, let them know it and give them a big thank you, not like the last time. And that includes from the incompetent mayor of San Juan! Exclamation point. This is the President of the United States bucking up American citizens in Puerto Rico before a possible hurricane strikes them after the devastation of the one 2 years ago. What a vile human being. Has it been 2 years? Yeah, it's 2 years, right? Not just one. What? Okay. Well, I'm telling you nothing you don't know. And here in this tweet, he says, FEMA is ready. Well, you know, it's funny because I read in a Washington Post article today about how Trump, scared about going down in flames in the next presidential election, is going berserk, telling people that wall has got to be built because it was his big promise. And one of the ways he's decided it's gonna be built is he's taken, I forget how many millions of dollars that is supposed to go to, that he took it from the budget of FEMA. Right as the hurricane season begins, he takes money from FEMA, Federal Emergency folks, and puts it to the wall building. According to the Washington Post article, he has told people who say, his aides will say, but Mr. President, see, a lot of that land, we don't have access. That belongs to private citizens, or the land belongs to Native Americans. The tribes hold that land. You can't just start building on it if you don't own it. And the president has apparently said, take it! Seize the land. Now, there is a way of doing that, as you know, called eminent domain, where the government can literally take somebody's property for the greater good. This is certainly not a case of that. And he has, according to the Washington Post, told these aides to not only just seize people's land without going through the proper procedures, but he has said to them that he will pardon them if they get arrested. He's told the Army Corps of Engineers to disregard environmental laws that have to be paid attention to if you're building. And again, he just keeps telling people, I'll pardon you. On top of all of this, he has insisted that it be painted black and have pointed spikes on the top. According to officials who have attended the meetings, Trump has waved off worries about contracting procedures and the use of eminent domain, saying, take the land. Don't worry, I'll pardon you. One former official said, he said people expected him to build a wall and it had to be done by the election. The White House has responded to this article by saying the president was joking about pardoning people. No, he wasn't. By the way, pardons can only be given after the fact of a crime, not to help people commit the crime. This, again, is just another absolutely impeachable offense, an obstruction of justice and the law. He's diverting over $3.5 billion in funds for the Pentagon for the wall. And also, as I said, from FEMA. Just, this president is effing amazing. And you see the little mini-me over in the UK, Boris, right? Johnson, yeah. Is threatening now. He says he's going to shut down Parliament, suspend Parliament, so that they can't get in his way as he bulls through into Brexit. And in order to suspend Parliament, you need the Queen. So he has to make a appeal to the Queen to do it, which puts her in an extremely political position. And it'd be in keeping with the craziness of this world right now if the Queen refused to do it. Oh, and the Amazon is burning. So what does the Trump administration want to do? Trump is now pushing to cut down trees in the world's largest temperate forest, not tropical forest. The Amazon, obviously, a tropical forest. The largest temperate forest in the world is in the United States. It's in Alaska. And it is the Tongass National Forest. Both the Clinton presidencies and all after that have secured this forest from logging interests. But Trump has now instructed the Agriculture Secretary to exempt the entire 16+ million acre forest from logging restrictions that have been in effect for almost 20 years. We are told that Trump has taken a personal interest in what he calls forest management, which, of course, means forest destruction to benefit a few rich capitalists. Imagine that. Just saying. Also, in case you hadn't heard, the second largest tropical forest is in Africa, and it too has fires going. Just saying. And now, so we can have something lighter. I have 2 save the dates for you. Seriously. One is October 3rd. That's a Thursday night. And some of you, I know, go regularly to this yearly event, the one performance event called Off the Record at the Byham Theater downtown. I have supported this thing for 20 years. It is a great night, a great piece of theater, and it is done mostly by journalists and who bring in some real professional singers, dancers, actors. And it's always a send-up, musical send-up of the craziness that has gone on locally. And so it's essentially becomes a roast of certain public figures who are often allowed to do a pre-buttal before, some acquitting themselves beautifully, others not so much. It's a great evening, and it benefits the food bank. Please, if please come. This year, I think is especially great because the setting of the story, there's always some crazy story that allows for the songs and dancing, is the apocalypse. I mean, that Pittsburgh is destroyed, essentially. I think Mount Washington falls down into the town. I don't know. Everybody's dead. Something horrible. And dead Pittsburghers who are in heaven, Fred Rogers, Rachel Carson, Sophie Maslow, these people who are all portrayed in the evening are, I guess, deciding what Pittsburghers will get to join them. And so I think Jeffrey Romoff, I'm not sure, he's definitely one of the bad guys in this, and so is the publisher of the Post-Gazette, whose people mostly put this on. They're taking him on, and I think sending him to hell. It sounds like a great show. I'll have the producer, Chris Rawson, on a little bit later to talk about it. And I really hope some of you go. You laugh. You laugh. And you're there in the theater with a lot of the people who are often portrayed. So it's fun to mix and mingle with some of the folks who you see on television all the time and in the headlines. So there was that. And the other save the date is something that I first flagged last year, which was its first year. It was so stunningly successful that it's coming back for the second year. And what it is, again, it's a charitable event, but it's also a race. So many charitable events are races, right? 5K for this, 5K for that, run for this, run for that. This is called, though, the What's the Point? A race for the rest of us. It is a 0.5K, a half a kilometer, which is essentially a stroll around the block. So it's called What's the Point? The race for the rest of us. And it is the second annual, and it is Sunday, September 22nd. It's coming up. I am honored to have been asked to start the race off, and apparently they have a real gun. A real gun. I think I get to shoot it, right? If I'm starting. And maybe I do play-by-play. I don't know. The race will start and finish at Westinghouse Park in East Liberty. And a 0.5K is essentially 546 yards. So most of us are up to it. Last year, people on walkers finished the race. So it's a feel-good thing. There is a carb-loading donut station halfway through. So halfway through it, you can chow down on some Dana's Donuts. There are nap stations for taking on yoga mats for taking breaks during the race. And the Westinghouse High School drum line and Alderdice Marching Band are going to be there. This is a riotous, wonderful event. And I believe there's going to be a dog jog as well. One of the sponsors of the event, Mini of Pittsburgh, will provide a Mini Cooper to scoop up anyone who needs help across the finish line. So you can register online if you want to be one of the runners, strollers, at What's the Point 5K.com. So, just saying. Be there. This benefits, I forget. Who the hell does this benefit? Can't remember. I guess in some ways it's not the point. The point is to have fun. There is a registration fee, $15 in advance, $20 at the door. Okay? Just wanted you to... I'm going for sure. I'm hoping my mom is going to be in town that weekend, and Susan, because I'm going to have them run the race. And I figure my mom at 97 might like win an award or something for the oldest. Do you think? For the oldest person to cross the finish line? Maybe. So I'm hoping. All that is up in the air. But please, those dates. October 3rd for Off the Record. And the 0.5, what's the 0.5K on the 22nd of September. Thank you. Dana Milbank did a piece on Joe Biden as a gaffe machine. And, you know, he's compiled a bunch of them. And it really is mind-blowing. And it's worrisome to me. On the other hand, I'd rather have him, obviously, than a deranged lunatic and narcissist. But the fact is Joe Biden at a campaign event last Friday told the crowd, I want to be clear, I'm not going nuts. Which is a strange thing for somebody who's asking people to support him for president. The reason he did it is he keeps getting the name of the town or state he's in incorrectly. On Saturday, he says to the crowd, what's not to like about Vermont? The problem was he was in New Hampshire. He's mixed up. He's thinking he's in Burlington, Vermont, and he's really in Burlington, Iowa. And then, he says things like, here's another one. Last week, he said this. Bobby Kennedy and Dr. King had been assassinated in the 70s, late 70s, when I got engaged. What? Excuse me? I remember those assassinations very well, and I can assure you, it was not the 70s, it was the 60s. So I'm wondering, 68, right? Did he get, I wonder if he got engaged in 68 or 78. He doesn't even know. He got the El Paso and Dayton shootings wrong. He placed them in Houston and Michigan. He remembered a visit he had with the survivors of the Parkland shooting before the shooting had happened. At the Iowa State Fair, he was heard to thunder, "We choose truth over facts." And then there's those ones that he, like about Obama, that just thoroughly freaked me out. He was once talking to a paralyzed man in a wheelchair, and he says, "Stand up, Chuck." I think he wanted to introduce this guy, to the audience, to a larger crowd. And he's talking to him. The guy is paralyzed and says, "Stand up, Chuck." He told one audience, "You all look dull as hell." How could he say that? He said, "You cannot go to a 7-Eleven unless you have a slight Indian accent." Oh, my God. Oh, my God. But as I said, this is still so much better than than what we have. But, you know, all things being equal, I think we could still do better. Yeah. Oh, wow. So a man, I didn't realize these were related stories. I did see a picture of a totally naked white guy running around outside, police chasing him. I did not know. This is the guy, they were chasing him because he killed 3 members of a minor league baseball player, the mother, the wife, I think, and the child. He killed 3 people, I believe black people. And then he's running around naked, and the cops are like chasing him or like dodging him. And Bob and Braddock has sent me this. He said he was eventually taken into custody, of course, unscathed. If that were a black man who had just murdered 3 people, you don't think he'd be dead? Why is it white guys get to murder, commit unbelievable mayhem, and they get taken alive? A black person who's sitting in the park doing nothing gets killed. Driving his car, doing nothing illegal, gets killed. Walking down the street, gets killed. Walking into his own house, opening the door of his own house, gets killed. White people, naked white people can, and you don't think white privilege exists, huh? You don't think so, huh? Yeah, well. We have a call. Hello, caller.
Hi, Lynn.
Hi.
Hey, I'm kind of like that too with Biden. I like him, but I keep thinking maybe Elizabeth Warren will come ahead over him. In some ways, I'm wishing that.
Yeah, I am too.
After all those gaffes, it's like too many. I mean, wow. Take a cue card out and right where you're at first. That's the first rule, is know where you're talking, what your audience is. I mean,
write it inside your arm. Just write it on the inside of your arm. I mean, I have trouble with names and places.
Maybe he's shown his age. I don't know.
No, I think he is. I think he is.
And then again, there's a lot of young people get things screwed up like that too. So I don't know. But yeah, But you know, the other day when I called about, somebody said it, lazy Americans. The reason that really ticks me off is that is the same old talking points that the Republicans and big businessmen always use. You can't find good help. Nobody wants to work. The American people are lazy. And it just drives you nuts. And I've heard that all my life about, I can't find good help. Well, if you pay the people a living wage, maybe you would. You get what you pay for sometime. If you want something good, sometimes you have to pay a little more money. But they don't. It's always the worker. They're always going to work. And it's one thing about this, like Biden and Elizabeth Warren, they need to get on workers' rights, and they need to talk about unions more. If they don't do that, they're going to blow it, because you need to get back to where the basic thing of unions and workers' rights. But I don't see them talking that much about it. They seem to be this pro-business, and that's fine. But if you're not for the workers, I think they're going to pay the price. I'm afraid they're going to screw it up, you know?
Yeah. I have to tell you, though, that I can't imagine a weary nation re-electing Donald Trump. I just can't imagine. That's what I'm hoping. He's just wearing us out. So,
yeah.
But I also do agree that Democrats need to not let Trump destroy himself and just start talking about, real jobs and worker and the importance of treating workers fairly. That would be a good start. Living wages, things like that. I agree with you.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
See
All right,
ya.
thank you.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
As has become our habit on Wednesdays, Ryan Deto, senior staff writer. Did I get that right?
Yeah, sure.
Is joining us.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. And, oh, dear God.
Okay.
We were just talking about Trump, you know.
Oh.
Like the latest horrors. Just unfriggin' believable.
Yeah, he's been tweeting. He's been in rare form.
Well, this morning,
I
mean, he's he's trashing the people of Puerto Rico as they await.
He blamed them for being in the line of a hurricane.
Yeah, right. What's up with that? It's heading right for Puerto Rico again. What's wrong with you people?
I've never seen anybody blame weather on people.
Oh God, Jesus.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's
and he was talking about bed bugs and all this other stuff. Oh man, yeah, it's been quite the treat the last few days.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Did you see that he's ordered the largest temperate forest, which is in the United States, in Alaska, to be open?
Oh, I did see that. Yeah.
Open to logging.
Yeah, trying to build more roads there, even though it's been
right. It has been off limits since the Clinton, I believe, administration.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a treasure. I
Yeah,
hear. I've
it's
actually been wanting to take a trip
Okay.
up there.
Well, it's a get there before the capitalists cut it down. Okay. And I mean, we're worrying about the Amazon burning, and what's his response to that? Hey, let's cut down this largest temperate forest.
Yeah, it seems like we have this I guess impasse that we're at, where a lot of people realize that we can probably produce a lot of energy and money and all these other things through more sustainable methods, and yet this other side, the Trump side, wants to continue or even increase the rate in which we harvest our natural resources, including logging or oil or natural gas. And yeah, it's it's definitely an impasse where we're at, and we're going to need to make a decision, hopefully relatively soon, on where to go.
Dear God.
Saying it nicely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I did, not that we normally talk about sports or this stuff, but I did see this.
I know what this is.
I saw that you liked a certain tweet, and then I went looking for what it was about.
Okay. Yeah.
And oh my God, what is with this attempt by, excuse me, this is local stuff, KDKA to
Radio.
resurrect, and television.
Oh, yeah.
Aren't they using her too?
I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
Okay, they will.
Yeah.
KDKA wants to resurrect the disgraced former anchor at WTAE, Wendy Bell.
Yes.
And their latest thing is odd.
Extremely odd. One of the oddest, I actually would say. And I've written a lot about Wendy over the last year and her attempted resurrection. Or it's not even attempted at this point. Her resurrection.
No, it's just classic.
Yeah.
It's just obvious.
Yeah.
That they see money with her. They think she's got a base.
I think she does, unfortunately.
She does. In social media, she has the base.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she also has all these people who thoroughly cannot tolerate.
She's honestly a lot like
Donald Trump.
I don't want to compare her exactly to Donald Trump, but
yeah.
in terms of the dynamic, she clearly has a solid and large base, but her presence also turns off a lot of people on the other side.
Right.
And basically what happened here is that 93.7 The Fan,
which is a sports big sports station. Big sports station. Also part of that Katie
the
empire.
family. Yeah. They for their Pitt football talk show, pregame talk show, they are bringing on Wendy Bell in addition to Bob Pompiani and Paul Zeiss, I believe, who are sports people.
Yeah, they're sports people.
Yeah, exactly. Bob Pompiani.
What is she on there for?
I mean, everyone knows Bob Pompiani.
He's great.
Yeah, he's great. And then Paul Zeiss has a talk show on The Fan and also has a column on the Post Gazette and to talk Pitt football in the pregame show. But they're bringing on Wendy Bell, who, from my knowledge, I think everyone else in Pittsburgh
has no sports expertise
no
at
sports
all.
expertise
No.
whatsoever.
None.
And so it blew up actually on like,
Whoa. So I went,
yeah.
after seeing this, I went to the fans website because, tweet.
Yeah, tweet. Yeah.
Because they put it out
Yeah.
hey, great news. We got a 3-hour pregame show. I swear, I think
really
it is.
long. Gosh,
it's ridiculous.
Just watch the game.
And
get 3
they were
hours.
so excited to say yes, Bob Pompiani, Paul Zeiss, and Wendy Bell. And whoa.
Yeah.
I got sick of reading
Yeah, it got
that.
ratioed
There
crazy.
was a huge negative reaction.
Yeah,
on Twitter. Just huge.
There were a lot of people who actively dislike Wendy Bell because she is extremely conservative. She brings politics into basically everything, and conservative politics. She's very divisive. So she like brings all this. So there are a lot of people who just like were really mad just about that. But there were also a lot of
sports
people,
fans,
that were, there are also a lot of people that were just. Why? Why are you even doing this? Like, this doesn't make any sense. You could bring anybody else on who has just an ounce of sports experience. Like, what is the purpose of this? And man, it just feels like there are forces in our media environment that want to boost her personality, her extremely divisive.
I know. What is that about?
Personality, because
she's not. What? There's a lot of public persons in broadcasting that are really well liked.
Yes.
And even some women.
Yeah.
And even women who actually have a sports background.
Yeah, there's plenty
believe
of
it
sports
or
journalists.
not.
Yes.
If they wanted a woman or Lord, God forbid, a black person.
Well, Paul Zeiss is
Oh,
black.
is he? Oh, thank God. I didn't know.
Yeah, but
so
he's
you
very
can see what they're
conservative, too, but
really.
just wanted to say,
so they're
extremely.
trying to do this thing, right? We got the white guy, we got the black guy, so we got to have a woman, and that's who they come up with for a sports show. This awful human being, Wendy Bell. I mean, she's awful.
Yeah, she recently told I don't know if everyone remembers those Steve Kelly cartoons that were in the PG that were really sexist. I think we wrote about that. She actually actively defended those cartoons.
Right, she did.
On one of her like social media posts.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't make sense. No, I mean, it does make sense, the things she's doing. She's clearly picking a side and is trumpeting it with.
Well, Trump
Yeah.
editing, and that is, but it's true. She is taking his place. You see this more and more.
She said in post that she actively supports him. I've read the post. She says, I support Trump. Like, she actively supports him. So this is like, and this is such bullshit, if I can just say, because people are told in sports, they say stick to sports.
Yeah, don't do the
Stick to
politics.
sports,
Don't do
right?
the politics.
That is
right.
fucking garbage. Like, it is such a lie that it's only stick to sports, by the way, when people are liberal. I'm sorry. Like, it just feels like increasingly
or black.
more and more like that. Like, what's his name? The Miami guy who brought in politics to one of his things, but he was really upset about the gun control debate. And
this was the ESPN guy?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. He went nuts. And
and he got mad. And then of course it's like, everyone's like, stick to sports. The Fan and KDKA are putting an active conservative Trump supporter who has
sports background
that has shared conspiracy theories about Robert Mueller with Representative Reschenthaler from south of Pittsburgh. Like, this is somebody who is extremely political and conservative. Like, and that's that's okay if she wants to be really political. I'm really political, but no one's gonna put me on a sports show. Like, there's just no way. Hey, people, you want to put someone really political on a sports show? I'll do it.
You can do it. I could do it.
I will make every. Yeah, exactly. Lynn should do it. Like,
yeah. Hey, I double dated with Susie Lombardi. I've got connections to sports.
Do it.
Yeah.
And then make every single thing connected.
Jesus
to politics somehow, because I can only imagine. And it's really subtle the way that Wendy can do it too. At the same time, where she'll make it about like. Just like cultural touchstones is how she uses it, in the same way that the reason that she got fired is because of she was basically saying a lot of like what I would argue the quiet racist part out loud, you know?
Yes, right.
And so she's not necessarily like tying everything to a conservative politician, but the things that she advocates for are the same things that these conservative politicians say. And this is how the media influences people. And I just laugh. I laugh at any stupid stereotype that people think, the liberal media. It is not liberal.
Jesus.
It is not at all.
God, no.
It's extremely conservative, and especially radio. And,
no, television too. I mean, in my local TV, I've been in local television. It is, those are conservatives. Just tons of conservatives.
In the same thing that we were talking about last week with the, downtown crime, like they consistently frame things in a way to have fear about urban areas and crime, which is a racist thing to say because there are more Black people in urban areas.
Yes. We get that. We get the dog whistle.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, we get it.
And so to put Wendy on the show, it feels like
she's going to do, and later she's going to run.
Oh God, for what? Oh my gosh, what would she run for?
Congress.
Like against Connor Lamb or something like that?
She'd have to move to a little more because she lives.
Where does she live right now?
Right near me.
She lives in the city. Oh, she can't win then. She'd have to move.
No, so that's what I'm saying. She'd have to move.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I guess
she could run for county executive maybe, but I don't think she could win.
Jesus. Anyway, there you have it.
Yeah.
Whoever's making these decisions over there, it's disgusting, and it is a way of inserting her vile politics into what should be
I think it's
show
intentional, and I've actually been working on a story, trying to compile as much research as I can and as much evidence as I can about this idea of these local media makers, I guess you could say, and their influence through sports, especially, to have conservative viewpoints. Like, there's so many sports personalities in the area that explicitly tweet, share on social media, say on the radio conservative viewpoints. They do it all the time, but you don't hear any liberal people doing that because they're kind of told to quiet down, and it's garbage. And why, especially in Pittsburgh, where sports are such a huge part of our culture, and I think there's an influence there, and I think they're doing it on purpose. But that's just I'm speculating a little bit, but I can do that on the radio.
Yes, you can. And this is not a news show. This is an opinion bloviating kind of a show. Okay, you say divisive. I say divisive. Most people seem to say divisive. But it's not that this works all the time.
Yeah.
But it's divide. Why wouldn't it be divisive? Divisive. That's what I say.
I don't know.
Does that sound wrong to you?
No, I don't. I think it's like tomato. I don't think it matters. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, obviously tomato is wrong, but
I'm starting to get. My kid says aunt, like aunt. And I think, where the hell did you get that? I don't say it's aunt.
I say milk for some reason instead of milk. So
milk.
it's just
Ooh, that sounds awful.
I know. But I love it. Milk. I drink it all the time.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
You drink milk?
Oh, yeah.
Well, coming from the dairy state, I thank you.
We have great dairy here in Pennsylvania, too.
Yes, that's true. Pennsylvania is a big dairy state as well. All right. Well, done beating up on that bitch. I just really...
And the worst part is that she owns all of us. Like, she beats us, is what I'm saying, in terms of influence, in terms of these things. This is what people, I think a lot of liberals don't understand, that someone like Wendy Bell has way more influence.
She has
than
way
anyone
more
at the City
ears,
Paper,
way more eyes.
Yep.
Yeah, she does.
Yes.
She does.
Yes.
Yes, she does. And the resurrection of Wendy Bell continues apace.
Yes. That was pretty quick, I have to say. I thought, what about, oh no, her career's going to be ruined. It's like...
Does she still have that lawsuit out there that she was...
No, they settled that, I think.
They did?
Yeah, she got some money.
Did she really?
Yeah, they settled, That's usually what happens in the legal system, right? You settle so you don't have to worry about it, even though I think she probably would have lost. But
okay, well, here, I want to... speaking of settling, I want to talk about the Sacklers and Purdue Pharma, because they're talking settling. Johnson & Johnson just got hit. Johnson & Johnson got hit. They're nowhere. Johnson & Johnson is is like this much a part of what happened in the opioid.
Okay.
Yeah, really.
Okay. Yeah.
These are the guys.
Oh, for sure.
Purdue.
Yes.
And they now have, I don't know how many, there's over 2,000 cases against them and or members of their family and or whatever.
I think some are in right here in Pennsylvania. I think
yeah.
I think Beaver County and a bunch of other counties.
So they're trying
Lehigh
to,
County.
They're trying to settle.
Yeah.
Now, there's part of me that doesn't want them to get off this easy. First of all, they will go bankrupt. That's part of the settlement.
Oh, it is.
Oh yeah, because then
good.
if they go bankrupt,
Yeah.
this is how corporate murderers end up getting away with it, right? So if they
go bankrupt, that means they have to go through the bankruptcy process, right?
Yeah, and who's gonna? People can't get money from a bankrupt company. I don't think.
I don't think so either. I think their assets are like frozen for like 7 years. Or something.
So they're apparently offering to pay up to $12 billion to settle all these suits. That ain't enough. That ain't anywhere near enough. It would still give them billions. And they will walk away from control. But again, what you said, it made me think of it, is that if they don't settle, if all these states' attorneys general, that they're all part of these talks.
Yeah.
So that would be all of these states going after them, the cities, all of that stuff. They will have to accept that and not be able to go after them. If they don't settle, I don't know.
Well, I mean,
I don't know what the right thing to, but how come the law is such that these people can kill more people than died in the Vietnam War?
Yeah. I don't know.
Nobody hangs. Nobody goes to jail.
Because everything is about money, right? I mean, like, I think that's why. I think it's like our legal system is set up in which it's mostly about extracting as much money as you possibly can out of it, and so that's usually encourages people to settle instead of get it tried because it costs so much money to run these lawsuits, right? And that's state
money,
also, right?
Let's say they
like
go
taxpayer money.
Well, that's right. And then they go. Let's say these cases go to court. The jury comes back and says, "You got to pay $60 billion, you sons of bitches." Mm-hmm. They appeal.
Yeah.
And it goes on forever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
So
it's like a checks and balances system that like can be beneficial, but also can not be, right? Like. But it is frustrating. I don't know. We'll see it depends on what the attorneys general say, right? Like they're the ones that can say like, well, no, let's like take, it's pretty encouraging that Johnson & Johnson lost their lawsuit. That gives them like, confidence to be like, oh, we can win, So maybe they,
in a jury trial, these guys win, but here's the problem. Then it gets appealed and appealed. And we know what Trump has been doing to our federal appeals courts, right?
Yeah.
They'll finally get a friendly court.
And they'll get it, or they'll put it up to the Supreme Court.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go. Found this on Webster's Dictionary website. The standard pronunciation is with a long I.
Uh-oh.
Hello.
Hey, but I say milk, so, I say a lot of words wrong.
Divisive. I hear divisive all the time.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
guess
hear it on
I'm just
okay.
Divisive. Wendy Bell is divisive.
And divisive. She's just a fucking asshole, let me tell you. People who
What I don't understand is that she's like, how do these people get these jobs? You know how hard it is for like millennials in journalism to like get good jobs, and then there are these people like Wendy Bell that are just handed jobs. What has she done? What kind of like scoop and good journalism work has she accomplished? Can somebody tell me? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Tell me. Like I would love.
No, what she has is she has this ability. She's made for TV, and that's where I'm sure eventually pushing her.
It's just so
The rate-
it just doesn't make sense. A lot of people can be made for TV. It's this stupid chicken and egg situation where like
Yeah,
people,
you're not allowed
you know,
to get
oh,
the,
because
I know, you
you're
can't
not
get in
there
the door.
yet. Exactly. But I mean,
Yeah.
it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, little Tony says about Wendy, unfortunately, she has a good amount of followers. I know that.
Yeah.
Sometimes while preparing dinner, I'll turn on my little radio. She is obnoxious. She constantly interrupts Marty. I can't believe he.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're split up now. Did you see that
no,
too?
I haven't
Oh
seen
yeah,
that.
they had their own their new
Because
announcement
I'm sure
recently.
when
They
I
got their
heard she was
new-
joining him,
Yeah.
I thought, I felt sorry for him, which is saying something. Yeah, I did. I really felt sorry for him. So where they split him off?
Yeah, they have their own radio show. They have their own 3-hour shows now. So, which is actually stupid, like annoying.
So
for
when's
someone
Wendy on?
I think Marty's on in the morning, and I guess maybe Wendy
Is like
her regular drive time. I don't know. I don't know. I
Unbelievable.
didn't see that bit, but I saw that Marty's in the morning now.
but he used to be in the morning anyway.
Oh yeah, I guess he's just back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Everybody
anyway,
comes-
back to
everything
little
comes
Tony.
back.
She constantly interrupts Marty, and anyone who disagrees with her, she constantly giggles. Oh God, that's my deal breaker.
Yeah.
Giggling.
Yeah. Too much.
Oh! I cannot tell you how many young women I have told, stop giggling.
Uh-oh.
Is this coming? There's a laugh and there's a
Okay,
giggle,
got it,
okay?
okay.
If you want to be taken seriously, stop giggling. Hearty laughs are okay.
I don't think Wendy wants to be taken seriously, though, right?
It's a way women have found of diminishing themselves so they're
Yeah, but
more
I mean,
tolerable. So,
but I mean, Wendy
well, that
wants that. But I mean, Wendy upholds those principles, those
that's why she
patriarchal principles.
well, that's why she giggles.
Exactly, and really, I mean, that makes sense. That would
I'm
make
not
sense.
really a strong person with tons of, this
Influence
and
and
that.
money.
Influence and
Yeah,
money and
and power.
everything. Oh,
Yeah.
perish the thought. Okay. I already had a low opinion of Marty, but after his show with Wendy, I think even less of him. Oh, God. Marty Griffin is a troll, but her being on a sports show is beyond bizarre. I hope she destroys her career when she does her own show next week. Oh, so next week
Yeah.
she starts her own show. Oh, God. Oh, no. The Queen approved Boris's plan. I thought this was a chance. Boris Johnson,
Yeah.
the new prime minister,
Yeah.
is doing something that is, they're calling it a constitutional crisis in the UK.
Okay.
He went to the Queen and said, I need you to essentially suspend Parliament for a period. The period being the time that Parliament was intending to get together and try to make an end run around his Brexit strategy.
Okay.
So he took out the legislative branch.
Nice.
This
I mean,
is
not
as if,
nice.
can you imagine if the president,
Like
our president,
shut down
could-
Congress
yeah,
and we were about to pass
this
something.
is what, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I don't think.
wow. Hey, Britain, what are you trying to
What's-
do? Make us actually look like a functional country?
We do seem to be going back and
What?
forth between them and
Jesus,
Britain.
yeah. Who can go first, the Anglos or the Americans? Come on. It is just, it's down, down, down for the wasps. It's over. You had your moment in the sun. It's over.
What's Boris's plan? I haven't been following this.
To
so
pull
close.
out of Brexit, to pull out of the EU.
Oh, totally clean.
Yeah,
Clean pulled
yeah,
out. Okay.
yeah. And that'll just tank him. It'll tank him. The Queen, really, if she had said no, that would have also been a
Oh, for
constitutional
sure. Yeah,
crisis.
she can't. She can't. She doesn't
But-
really have power,
oh,
right?
God,
she kind of
but
has
I
to just
bet
approve
she
everything.
doesn't. Yeah, here it is. Even conservatives in his own party are freaking out.
Wow.
The Queen agreed to, this is what they call suspension there. There's another verb for it. Prorogue.
Whoa.
P-R-O
Yeah.
and rogue.
Prorogue. Very hard to
Prorogue.
pronounce.
It's hard, but I can't even figure out where that comes from.
They have a lot of weird words.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, that is.
And he
that is,
changed when the Queen would normally have given a speech. He suspended that, and she'll now give her speech. Oh, God. Bring the royalty back. They couldn't do any worse. Well, that's not necessarily true. I don't know. What the hell are we going to do?
I feel like it's just always going to be like this now in the future, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I think this is just like
Total
the future.
dysfunction.
Yeah, I mean, like the media has really gone like, it's just a different media environment than I think it used to be. And so there's so much more information, too much information.
Junk.
Yeah,
You know,
overload.
if you stop and think of like the cable news, they just do the same story over and over and
for
over
sure.
for 24 hours
It's ridiculous.
instead of telling people all this other stuff
Yep.
going on that
Oh
they
my
should
God.
know
Brett
about.
Stevens.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Like,
I mean,
that's a perfect example of like, why is this on cable news?
Yeah,
this is
right.
the dumbest thing ever. And it's like, oh,
this
because
is
it'll get
the
ratings or
New
whatever.
New York Times op-ed guy
Yeah.
who got into a fight on Twitter,
yeah.
because some guy called him a bed bug. Bed bugs are having a big week.
They really are.
What is it? The bed bug lobby and someone's pocket? Yeah, it's bed bug. And he went berserk. The op-ed guy got up to, and then people, of course, started telling him, "What a thin-skinned jerk you are."
Yeah,
Okay?
especially coming from the guy who advocates for free speech on like college campuses and all this stuff, and he can't even take a mild insult.
Right. And so that became news because that's how incestuous the.
That's how it works.
I remember a million years ago, literally. Who was I talking to? They were decrying this new trend where newspaper reporters would show up on television in these new cable shows.
Okay.
And this person warned darkly, this will destroy journalism. And because the scribblers, the scribes, the journalists,
Yeah.
never had faces,
Yep.
never had personalities, never had followers.
Yeah.
They were just doing their job,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Cable news took them and elevated them to celebrityhood.
Sure.
And news judgment has gone askew.
Yeah.
They've become, they end up covering other celebrities in the governmental sector.
Well, and it's
But
just this
all
vicious
in all,
cycle.
it's just celebrities.
I think that's the problem
Governing
is that it's
celebrity-
become this like vicious cycle. I think you could still have a cable news or journalists with personalities, but when the driver of the news is basically just to like give people what they want instead of informing people about something important, there is no reason this Brett Stevens story should be anything. It's ridiculous. Like there are so many other stories that could be having journalists really dig into and explain and all these things, and that is truly the problem. I think it's the business model.
Well, but it is because it's
totally
about
broken.
it's about making money.
Yes, it's
not
totally
about giving
broken.
people news
Information,
they need.
exactly.
There used to be an ethic.
Yes.
Do you know what that is? Because
Well, could we?
in 10 years there was a journalistic ethic, and it was held in. I mean, it was
that magical period of American capitalism from like 60 to 70 where there was capitalism that increased value in markets and everything for everybody at the same time of ethics that also held it in check. And then the 80s came around and it just like gone with the
fluid.
ethic. It doesn't matter
That's
anymore.
right.
And
No.
now we need to go, in
Pull
my
back,
opinion, we
pull
need
back.
to shrink back
rape
a
and
little
pillage.
bit.
We got to get out of the rape and pillage era.
I think we need publicly funded news personally, but we'll see if we can get there.
Okay, here's where prorogue comes
Okay,
from.
cool.
From the Latin for in front of, public, to rogare, which is ask. How does that
You
become suspended?
pre-ask.
Then prolong and prorogue. I don't get it. Thank you, Milton. You're great, but
That is great,
I
yeah.
still don't. Huh?
We're just too dumb.
My
We
ex-husband.
need to be on
my
a sports
ex-husband
talk show.
spoke Old French.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. Oui.
And my brother speaks Old English and Old Norse.
Wow. I speak a little Spanish.
Not Old Spanish, though.
No.
Do you?
New Spanish.
Can
California
you?
Spanish.
Okay, who's the author? Juan de April with his sure sota. The drought of March has pierced to the road.
Oh.
And bathed every vein in sweet liqueur.
I don't know what's going on right now.
Chaucer!
Oh, I'm too dumb.
You never read Chaucer?
No.
Well, that was how he wrote. That was English. That was
was.
Old English.
Well, I read Beowulf in high school. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, that was written in Old Norse.
That was weird. That was a hard one to read, to be honest.
It's a
great story, though.
Great
Really is.
story.
Yeah.
Juan de April. When April.
Oh.
All right. That's our little lesson for today. And thank you. We're out of time.
Oh, man.
I
That
don't
just
know.
flies by.
I hope no one prorogues you. And don't be divisive.
Yeah, or divisive.
That was divisive.